According to principle of conservation of energy, the total momentum of a system of masses in any direction remains constant unless acted upon by an external force in that direction. A. True. B. False. C. D. The correct answer is false. The friction experienced by a body when in motion is known as A. Rolling friction. B. Dynamic friction. C. Limiting friction. D. Static friction. The correct answer is dynamic friction. Two balls of equal mass and of perfectly elastic material are lying on the floor. One of the ball with velocity v is made to struck the second ball. Both the balls after impact will move with a velocity a v, b v2, c v4, d v8. The correct answer is v2. The term force may be defined as an agent which produces or tends to produce, destroys or tends to destroy a motion. A. Agree. B. Disagree. C. D. The correct answer is agree. The coefficient of restitution for elastic bodies is 1. A. Correct. B. Incorrect. C. D. The correct answer is incorrect. The velocity ratio in case of an inclined plane inclined at angle to the horizontal and weight being pulled up the inclined plane by vertical effort is A. Sin. B. Cos. C. Tan. D. Cosec. The correct answer is sin. The range of projectile on a downward inclined plane is the range on upward inclined plane for the same velocity of projection and angle of projection. A. Less than. B. More than. C. Equal to. D. The correct answer is more than. The angle of inclination of a vehicle when moving along a circular path upon its mass. A. Depends. B. Does not depend. C. D. The correct answer is does not depend. A body of weight W is required to move up on rough inclined plane whose angle of inclination with the horizontal is. The effort applied parallel to the plane is given by where tan coefficient of friction between the plane and the body. A. Pw tan. B. Pw tan. C. Pw sin cos. D. Pw cos sin. The correct answer is Pw sin cos. If the resultant of two equal forces has the same magnitude as either of the forces, then the angle between the two forces is A. 30. B. 60. C. 90. D. 120. The correct answer is 120. A smooth cylinder lying on its convex surface remains in equilibrium. A. Stable. B. Unstable. C. Neutral. D. The correct answer is unstable. Coefficient of friction is the ratio of the limiting friction to the normal reaction between the two bodies. A. Yes. B. No. C. D. The correct answer is yes. Moment of inertia of a circular section about an axis perpendicular to the section is A. d316, B. d332, C. d432, D. d464. The correct answer is d432. The unit of angular acceleration is A. nm, B. ms, C. ms2, D. rad s2. The correct answer is rad s2. Moment of inertia of a triangular section of base B and height h about an axis passing through its CG and parallel to the base is A. bh34, B. bh38, C. bh312, D. bh336. The correct answer is bh336. If the masses of both the bodies as shown in the below figure are reduced to 50%, then tension in the string will be A. Same, B. Half, C. Double, D. The correct answer is half. Which of the following is an equation of linear motion where u and v initial and final velocity of the body, a acceleration of the body, and s displacement of the body in time t seconds? A v u a t, b s u t1 to a t2, c v2 u2 to a s, d all of these. The correct answer is all of these. If a number of forces are acting at a point, the resultant will be inclined at an angle with the horizontal such that A tan hv, B tan vh, C tan vxh, D. The correct answer is tan vh. The force required to move the body up the plane will be minimum if it makes an angle with the inclined plane, the angle of friction. A equal to, B less than, C greater than, D. The correct answer is equal to. In the shown figure, if the angle of inclination of the plane is increased, then acceleration of the system will A increase, B decrease, C remain the same, D. The correct answer is decrease. The total time taken by a projectile to reach maximum height and to return back to the ground is known as time of flight. A yes, B no, C, D. The correct answer is yes. The range of a projectile is maximum when the angle of projection is A 30, B 45, C 60, D 90. The correct answer is 45. The mechanical advantage of a lifting machine is the ratio of A distance moved by effort to the distance moved by load, B load lifted to the effort applied, C output to the input, D all of the above. The correct answer is load lifted to the effort applied. Static friction is always dynamic friction. A equal to, B less than, C greater than, D. The correct answer is greater than. A body will begin to move down an inclined plane if the angle of inclination of the plane is the angle of friction. A equal to, B less than, C greater than, D. The correct answer is greater than. When a particle moves along a circular path with uniform velocity, there will be no tangential acceleration. A correct, B incorrect, C, D. The correct answer is correct. The bodies which rebound after impact are called A inelastic bodies, B elastic bodies, C neither elastic nor inelastic bodies, D none of these. The correct answer is elastic bodies. The maximum frictional force which comes into play when a body just begins to slide over the surface of the other body is known as A static friction, B dynamic friction, C limiting friction, D coefficient of friction. The correct answer is limiting friction. The center of gravity of an equilateral triangle with each side A is from any of the three sides. A3 A2, B2 3A, C A2 3, D3 2A. The correct answer is A2 3. The distance between the point of projection and the point where the projectile strikes the ground is known as range. A correct, B incorrect, C, D. The correct answer is correct. The algebraic sum of the resolved parts of a number of forces in a given direction is equal to the resolved part of their resultant in the same direction. This is known as A principle of independence of forces, B principle of resolution of forces, C principle of transmissibility of forces, D none of these. The correct answer is principle of resolution of forces. The triangle law of forces states that if two forces acting simultaneously on a particle be represented in magnitude and direction by the two sides of a triangle taken in order, then their resultant may be represented in magnitude and direction by the third side of a triangle taken in opposite order. A. True. B. False. C. D. The correct answer is true. The angle between two forces when the resultant is maximum and minimum respectively are A 0 and 180, B 180 and 0, C 90 and 180, D 90 and 0. The correct answer is 0 and 180. The path of the projectile is a parabola. A. True. B. False. C. D. The correct answer is true. A redundant frame is also called frame. A. Perfect. B. Imperfect. C. Deficient. D. The correct answer is imperfect. A resultant force is a single force which produces the same effect as produced by all the given forces acting on a body. A. True. B. False. C. D. The correct answer is true. When a rigid body is suspended vertically and it oscillates with a small amplitude under the action of the force of gravity, the body is known as A. Simple pendulum, B. Compound pendulum, C. Torsional pendulum, D. Seconds pendulum. The correct answer is compound pendulum. If two blocks of equal mass are attached to the two ends of a light string and one of the blocks is placed over a smooth horizontal plane while the other is hung freely after passing over a smooth pulley, then the two blocks will have some motion. A. Agree. B. Disagree. C. D. The correct answer is agree. During elastic impact, the relative velocity of the two bodies after impact is the relative velocity of the two bodies before impact. A equal to, B equal and opposite to, C less than, D greater than. The correct answer is equal and opposite to. Work done is said to be zero when A. Some force acts on a body but displacement is zero. B. No force acts on a body but some displacement takes place. C. Either A or B. D. None of the above. The correct answer is either A or B. The force which acts along the radius of a circle and directed away from the center of the circle is called centrifugal force. A. Agree. B. Disagree. C. D. The correct answer is agree. 1 watt is equal to A. 0.1 joule s, B. 1 joule s, C. 10 joules s, D. 100 joules s. The correct answer is 1 joule s. Two like parallel forces are acting at a distance of 24 mm apart and their resultant is 20 N. If the line of action of the resultant is 6 mm from any given force, the two forces are A. 15 N and 5 N, B. 20 N and 5 N, C. 15 N and 15 N, D. None of these. The correct answer is 15 N and 5 N. If two bodies having masses m1 and m1 m2 have equal kinetic energies, the momentum of body having mass m1 is the momentum of body having mass m2. A equal to, B less than, C greater than, D. The correct answer is greater than.